You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting. The best in paranormal talk radio.
Reaching all the way back to 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition. Here is your host of Fate Radio, Kat Hobson.
Hello there and welcome to Fate Mag Radio. I am your host, Kat Hobson, and I have to tell y'all, I am so pleased about tonight's show. I think y'all are going to love it too. I am, first of all, going to say that I'm under a winter storm watch, so that does not happen here often. So we will see what happens with the power and such. We're hoping we don't have another Mary Joyce experience where everybody's without power later in the week, but we'll find out, right? Either way we go, we're going to have a good time. But tonight, my guest is somebody that just rocks my socks. She is really an expert in just about all fields of the anomalous. She is involved in alternative health, which fascinates me because I had to search far and wide to find an holistic doctor. She is involved in researches ancient mysteries, ghosts, ghost hunting, metaphysics and spirituality, paranormal phenomena, UFOs, alien abductions, and I guess just about everything I like. She has written so many books. I listed them in the event, and I also listed the films that she has done. If you go to her website, which is soulhealer.com, you'll find videos that she has done on so many topics, things that you really need to know about when you're dealing with today's modern society. And I want to introduce y'all to Dr. Rita Louise. Hi, Rita.
Hey, Kat. It is just so cool to get to hang out with you tonight and your listeners. I've been just like in a really upbeat space lately, kind of weird energy space, but
yes.
But good, like good weird energy. If you can have good weird energy.
I think you can. I've been experiencing that for a few weeks now. And, you said that so far the whole year has started off that way.
Well, I mean, one of the things, I've always known that I'm empathic. I mean, you can't do psychic work unless you're empathic, and I always knew that I was really sensitive and everything. But, but I've been doing some digging and I didn't realize that there were different kinds of empathics. And so one of the kinds that they identify are earth empathics, and it is one of the areas that I'm able to kind of tap into the vibration of the planet or be affected by the vibration of like the people on the planet. And it just seemed like with the beginning of this new year that there was going to be this big, or at least for me, but what I find is that I resonate with what's going on. So it's never just me. You know what I mean?
I do.
But that 2019, there was just going to be this big opening and people just kind of shifting their focus from worrying about everything that's going on out there to really working on, and I'm going to say nurturing themselves, and doing self-care and self-love. And I don't mean being stingy or greedy or, narcissistic in that way of self-care, but learning to love yourself and look inside and figure out what do I want and where do I want to go and how do I accomplish that? Because I feel like some of our deepest, darkest secrets that we didn't really want to look at are starting to come to the surface for a lot of people, and they're having to look at themselves and deal with, I mean, hopefully deal with it and heal it.
Deal with it
And I'll
and
just
heal
make,
it. I love that.
yeah. Well,
That's
and it's
awesome.
interesting because, I was like talking to a girlfriend of mine about this whole thing and feeling this 2019 thing. And she and I, like right now, are on like parallel trajectories. And then the whole bloody wolf moon, whatever it was, last weekend, was all about this opening up of a new energy. I mean, I don't really follow astrology, but then, people were posting articles. And so I'm going to throw this in because I found it really fascinating. It resonated with me. It resonated with another friend of mine. But they were talking about in 2017, so like January, I guess, of 2017, we started having lunar eclipses. I guess
Yes.
lunar eclipses every 6 months. And so whatever was wanting to come to the surface started 2 years ago.
And it has just been crawling its way through, don't you think?
I do think.
Yes.
I do think. And so with this latest one and the advent of this latest one, it's kind of like whatever has been percolating in the depths of us is really coming to the surface now for us to look at and again, address and heal.
Well,
and nurture.
Yes. And I loved what you said when you were talking about nurturing oneself, because it is not narcissistic to do that. If you don't take care of yourself, you are not strong enough to help other people. Mm-hmm. And, you have to self-care in order to be able to accomplish goals. I mean, there's so many things that people look at, oh, well, I'm just going to take care of this right now. They think that's a bad thing, and it's so not.
Well, but the sad part is in our society, we're not taught how to self-care, and we're not taught how to love ourselves and how to nurture ourselves. Now, we can nurture every other single person on the planet. I mean, especially if you're an empath, but no one taught us how to take care of ourselves.
And it is so draining, because I also am an empath and I'm sensitive in other areas also. But it's so draining I'm not one of those that can't go to Walmart or can't, I know how to shield. But sometimes the needs are so great that they can still overwhelm you. And, you have that gift because you're strong enough to carry it, is my opinion. So you should be able to help others and still take care of yourself. But you're right, in our society, it's so taboo that people just ignore that, or they're ashamed to do it.
I just don't think we know that we can.
Well,
I mean, I think there's just a whole level. Yeah. Or not taught how to. When I work with clients with health issues, there's always some kind of, in my opinion, or in the bulk of the situation, that there's some mental or emotional issue that sits underneath the disease. And sometimes when you work with someone, it's not that there's a broken emotion or a broken system. And I think the one that is the most direct is about planning. Yes. And about being able to make decisions and then follow out the decision. And so in Chinese medicine, that's really associated with the gallbladder. Now, there are people that are really good at planning, but they're not able to carry out their plans for one reason or another over a very long period of time, and they get gallbladder disease. But then there's a whole other group of people that can't plan their way out of a paper bag. And what I've seen as a sub-segment of that is that no one in their family can plan their way out of a paper bag. And so they were never taught how to plan. And so it's not that it's broken. They just don't know how.
I would agree with that, because I came from parents, one of whom planned his entire life. and the other of whom just kind of bounced around and counted on their parent to make everything smooth, even as an adult. So I'm not great at planning, but I am great at taking care of myself because I didn't want to be that person that was dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but that's great.
But even if I don't make plans all the time, I'm great at accomplishing things. I don't know how that works together. I have no idea why that works. But I have to make notes.
It's different energy vibrations.
But
I mean, do you want me to tell you why?
I do.
So planning. Okay, so I'm going to go total Chinese medicine philosophy.
Okay.
So planning is a function of the gallbladder meridian. So you make these plans. There are these mental things that you want to do, good, bad, or indifferent, even if you're just going with the flow or something spontaneous. But taking action and using your energy, kind of that real third chakra, use of your power and use of your will, is more tied to kidney energy. And so following through on things and having the ability to utilize your energy in concrete ways is tied to a different organ, even though they work very closely with each other, because if there's no plan, then there's nothing for you to put your energy into.
Well, but I know what I need to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And I just seek to accomplish that. I don't. Mm-hmm. I do make lists, as in.
Well, that's planning.
Well, it is to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also diagnosed as adult ADD because back when I was younger, girls weren't diagnosed with that. So I'm just like, whatever. As long as I'm getting things done and doing them as well as I can, I'm going to be happy with that. But it would be nice to be a little more smooth with that.
Well, we're all traveling down a road, working on something, and it sounds like it's something that's there that you look at, that you address, I don't want to say necessarily on a daily basis, but, there's an awareness there versus not even thinking about it and thinking, well, this is just how it is. And, and that's how it is. Bam.
It is. And, but like I said, I do get the things done, thank heavens. So I know that I have 2 articles that I still have to get to Fate magazine for the upcoming issue. And I'm so excited to be able to do things like that. Because when I was younger, I don't know that I would have been able to.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, Brenda and chat put squirrel, and I said exactly, because pretty much exactly if something else were to come up. But now I've gotten to where I accomplish and then I see the squirrel and go on.
But that's just part of that learning and growing, and developing an area that you saw a weakness, and to me, that is part of the human experience, to better ourselves and take things where we see what we consider deficits and have them not be deficient, and yes. I tell this story and most people roll their eyes at me or look at me like I'm weird or crazy. Because they don't believe me. I mean, they look at me like I'm weird or crazy because they don't believe me. And when I was young, I was excruciatingly shy. Like, to be here on the radio with you.
Really?
That would have been the last thing that would ever happen on the planet. And it took me years of just little baby steps to work on and just not be scared of talking. And now you kind of can't get me to shut up most of the time.
And I, for one, am appreciative of that fact.
Although, in situations you can still see, like I'm not the person that's just going to walk